Good, Jared. How are you, man?
Good. Is this coming in clear? Is the speed good?
It's good for me. Is it good for
Uh,
you?
yeah, man. Thanks for keep getting me live here. I appreciate my first
Yeah,
time
I
on
know, right?
Instagram Live.
Hey, look, this I think this is the first time I've ever done this too, right? It's one of those things where I think we're using technology more than we ever did before, which is hard to believe.
Are you in Atlanta right now?
I'm not. So
Oh,
I'm,
okay.
I'm the one member of the team that lives on the East Coast. Actually, I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, but
Oh, okay.
I can totally understand why you asked that question looking at the jerseys behind me. So I grew up in Georgia. I grew up
Okay.
in Athens, about an hour outside of Atlanta. So been a Braves fan my whole life.
It's still definitely Braves territory up there, no doubt. I think you
Yeah.
guys. I think Charlotte could have their own major league team. I think they should.
There's been talk about it. We built a brand new minor league stadium because we have the White Sox AAA here, and we
Yeah.
built that a few years ago. I think they built it with the idea that if we ever needed to expand, that they could pull that off.
What? It's funny. I played in Hickory, and one of my teammates from Hickory just joined on in here. Hi, Mike.
Nice. We'll talk about your
Hey,
minor
Mike.
league. We'll talk about your minor league stuff a little bit later because I actually I worked in the minor leagues a little bit too, so we'll have some overlap on that.
All right. Cool. Good
Uh,
deal.
are you guys staying safe? Everybody well over there in the Hughes household?
Yeah, all is good. I'm up north of Dallas. Just hey, there's Mike. But he remembers North Carolina for sure. Definitely Charlotte could have their own major league team. But yeah, it's going well up here. I'm in North Dallas. It's kind of a little off the beaten path, so there's not a whole lot of like. Oh, and there's my sister-in-law's here too. I got all my buddies are showing up. This is
No, that's
fantastic.
great.
Yeah. So no, it's good up here. It's like it's. I mean, kind of slower pace, so there's less traffic, which is good, and less
Right,
congestion. So it's easy to stay 6 feet away and practice social distancing, which
right.
we've been doing. Still, this is a tough time, and I can't wait to get back to work. I know this is a difficult time for everybody because it's hard to find jobs and it's hard to keep them right now.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we're pivoting as much as we can too, because as you know, most of our education is in person, so that's
Yeah,
on hold like everything else. I mean, I think everybody's still, even though it feels like we've been in this forever, I think there's still a lot of adjustment going on, and people are trying to figure out what the new normal is, and
yeah,
it's one of those things that I know will come back. I just don't know when it is, and that uncertainty is kind of scary for all of us.
yeah.
Um, but in the midst of that, it is giving us a chance to talk to people like you. I know you normally wouldn't have the time to do something like this. Um,
No, yeah. I mean, it's just not something I've ever been invited to. It's not that I don't have the time. It's that you've never invited me before, right?
right,
Yeah,
right. Well, we miss seeing people's faces, and this is one of the ways we
yeah.
can do it. So we appreciate the time, and I put together some questions for you, and I want to start by at least telling some people kind of how our connection came about, because I'm sure you have some followers that may not be too familiar with us. So, just for you guys that are on here that may not know too much about the Taylor Hooten Foundation, we're an educational nonprofit, and we educate on appearance and performance enhancing substances. So things like dietary supplements, HGH, anabolic steroids, stuff like that. We do that because the Hooten family, who's hanging out with us right now, they lost their youngest son due to his own anabolic steroid use, young baseball athletes that got involved with this stuff. And so ever since that happened, we've been on a mission to kind of remember his name, but also to spread the education that he didn't have. So we've been doing that for, gosh, I want to say around 17 years now. And it's been going great, and we've reached millions of lives. But one of the things we started thinking about, it's been, I think, since 2015, we wanted to say, look, we want to educate people, but we also want to inspire people at the same time. So one of our biggest partners is Major League Baseball. They've been with us really since day one. And we went to them and we said, look, how can we put something together that's really going to inspire people and put some positive messaging together? So started the All Me League, which I know you're a part of, and which is it's a group of athletes, a lot of which are MLB players that have come together and said, look, we made it to the top of our sport without this stuff. You guys can do the same exact thing. So you joined the Almy League, I want to say back in 2017. You've been involved with this for a long time. So we appreciate your support over the years. And I'm curious, just from your perspective, why was that something that you wanted to get involved with from the get-go?
Well, I think a lot of players, the vast majority of players, if not all of them at this point, are really, really against PED use. We understand how damaging it is, not just to the game, but to our own health, and also the health of people that see us as role models. Growing up, I grew up, and when I was in high school and when I was in middle school, it was kind of what you would consider the era where all that was being used in the major leagues. There's a lot of PED use, and it was disheartening and it was frustrating. And I thought to myself, well, if all these guys are on it, is that going to be something that I have to do if I want to play Major League Baseball?
Right.
And it was like, yeah, it was a thought that amateur players would have. And I had buddies in amateur baseball that ended up, you know, sick because they did stuff like that, and it wasn't a good situation. And I realized the effect that major league players can have on amateur players. We can be role models, and I want to be a role model in terms of not using performance enhancing drugs. I just think it's easy. It's so easy just not to do it, and to say that I don't do it, so that everybody understands that I'm out here saying it from a podium, like, hey, listen, these things are dangerous. Don't do it. Don't take them. It's not just damaging for the game, but it's also damaging for your long-term health. So I would say all players, even though it seems that every now and then somebody gets tested positive for steroids, but this is a very common train of thought in the major leagues.
Yeah.
This is exiting our game. We don't want any part of it. It's too damaging. And you can see with Taylor Hooten, the person who this foundation was founded after, that's what will happen. If you're a bad role model, bad things will happen. So you got to be, as a major league player, good role model. And I believe we're trying to do that. I know I'm trying to do that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. What's been really cool is, we reached out to all the teams and we didn't ask any specific guys. And there's just been, every year more and more guys stepping up saying what you're saying is like, we want to clean up the game, right? Number one, most of us are doing it right. And we want to celebrate that. So I think it's an awesome thing for young people to hear it from someone like you guys. And I know just from a bigger perspective, like, we get so caught up in the people that do get caught or do cheat. And those are the stories that get a lot of publication. But the reality is I'd much rather celebrate the guys that are doing it right, just like you. Because that's just a more positive conversation and provides inspiration. So we truly appreciate the support and you having that mindset and sharing that message with everybody that's out there. It means a lot. So that's kind of how we got connected and how we've been staying in touch over the years. And I want to go from there into kind of your career path. Just let our listeners learn a little bit more about you because you've been playing baseball for a long time now. So we kind of want to see how that journey played out for you. So I guess I'll kind of start at the beginning because the first time you and I have really chatted. I assume most Major League Baseball players, they pick up a baseball when they're like 3 years old. Was that the case for you? Were you always involved with baseball from day one?
For sure, yeah. It's like a passion of mine is throwing a ball, right? Any type of ball. When I was a kid, I just would throw them against walls, and it's just something I love to do. I love throwing. So it's something I'm still doing, luckily. I think there's been a lot of luck involved. I work hard. I try to stay as healthy as possible, but I've been lucky to stay healthy because that's a hard thing to do in baseball. Guys that don't stay healthy, you can't keep playing. So that's been maybe the biggest part of it is the luck that's involved with staying healthy. But yeah, the career trajectory started young, and I love this game, and I miss it so much right now, as I'm sure a lot of people who are sitting in this chat miss baseball right now.
Right. Yeah. So I figured you started pretty early, and I know you had a successful career pretty early on. You played baseball in high school. I think I read this right. Were you played baseball in high school? Were you drafted straight out of high school?
Yeah, I was drafted in the 16th round out of high school. I hurt my shoulder my senior year, so I fell in the draft in the 16th round. But it was something where I kind of still wanted to sign, decided not to, and I went to Santa Clara University for a year. Then I went to Long Beach State for 2 years and got drafted again. Just tried to learn and get better while I was in college. I think there are a lot of things. I went to Long Beach State maybe 5-6 years ago with the Taylor Hooten Foundation and spoke to athletes about the dangers of performance enhancing drugs. So it was cool to kind of go full circle and head back to Long Beach and help kind of motivate the next round of athletes leaving there to stay clean.
Right.
Because there are a lot of athletes that come out of Long Beach State and wind up in Major League Baseball or in a professional sport. We've had some good ones over the years. There's no doubt.
It's a really good program. Did you go there because it was a good program, or did you go there because you were from California, you want to stay close to home, or was it a combination of the two?
I just went there because I was kind of down and out at Santa Clara. I was injured. I hurt my elbow that year, and I wasn't in a good place, and I wanted to get closer to home. So Long Beach State was that for me.
Right. Well, it all worked out because you were drafted, 2006? I think the Pirates drafted you.
Yep.
And so What was it that day like? Because I think you fourth round, so you had to know you were getting drafted, but still, I assume that's like when you get that call, what's that feeling? You're like, did you know it was going to be the Pirates?
No, I had no clue. I knew it. I knew there was a good chance I'd get drafted, and I'd go the first day of the draft. And yeah, just sitting there, and it was a call, I think, but it was also like an old desktop computer that was like it would scroll like a text that
Right.
showed who got drafted. It wasn't like it is now where it's televised, but it was thrilling when I got drafted. I immediately wanted to go play. Got out there and just started logging innings and trying to get better.
Yeah, yeah, and you did spend some time in the minors, like we talked about a little bit earlier. Did you like your time in the minors? So a lot of people don't know. I've been doing this with the foundation for basically like a decade now. But right before this, I worked in the minor leagues, so I bounced around a little bit and did some operational stuff. So I kind of know the minor league baseball lifestyle, and I know
Yeah.
the sometimes lack of glamour that comes along with that. Some people really love it. Some people thrive in it. Some people want to get out as soon as they can. How did you kind of experience the minors?
Yeah, it was like ups and downs and definitely difficult times and hard lessons that had to be learned. It, I believe it was. I mean, I was a higher draft pick, but just watching guys play for almost no money was really difficult to see too because it was so difficult on so many guys' lives.
Yeah,
I saw guys that weren't even able to continue playing because they couldn't make ends meet. It was so that side of it was tough. And I think there's a lot of like issues with that going on in the minor leagues even today. But it was I learned a lot, and
sure.
I definitely made some great friends. Even my buddy who was in this chat earlier, I don't know if he's still on here, but yeah, I've got a lot of good friends that I made from the minor leagues, and I learned a ton about baseball. Some of the best baseball minds I know never played in the major leagues. They just learned in the minors, and they became outstanding baseball minds. Some baseball geniuses never made it to the major leagues. They just learned through experience in the minors.
Right. Yeah, it really does develop you. But like you said, yeah, I mean, when I was working in, a lot of guys, I mean, they would have other jobs in the off season. It's, people think, oh, you get drafted, you're a pro baseball player. It's not that simple, right? And
Right.
sometimes it takes some time. Some guys make it out, some don't. There's a lot of players. So there is a good and a bad to it. But it's like a family atmosphere down there too. I just
Right.
working there. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun too.
Yep. Yeah.
But you yourself, I mean, you made it out. You progressed fairly quickly. I think what you told me, MLB debut 2011.
Yeah. So 5.5 years in the minors out of college. I mean, it'll probably a little more than average for a guy that makes it to the major leagues. I debuted at 26.
Yeah. Do you remember the debut? You
Yeah.
remember everything
Yeah.
about it? Were you freaking out? You remember who your first batter was?
Yeah. First batter was, I think it was Jimmy Paredes for the Astros. But anyways, I came in, I threw one pitch, the ball came right back to me, and I ran over to first base and underhanded it. And I'll just never forget it. I'll never forget that day. Yeah.
One of those where you definitely don't want to throw overhand because you don't know where it's going to go, so you just
Yeah, I
walk.
under, yeah, exactly. I wasn't going to get that wrong. I had to get it
Right.
right. Yeah. But yeah, it was definitely it was a thrill. And I know I just going to say it just because I'm here, but getting there honestly without taking any performance enhancing drugs made it even more of a thrill, right? You can be, and I mean, I would say this anyways, but I'm saying it because I'm on the call here with you. And that's what the Taylor Hooten Foundation does for anybody just listening in, is they educate people about the dangers of performance enhancing drugs. And I truly believe in that cause. So getting to the major leagues clean, I don't know, I guess I was able to be a little bit more proud of myself. I really do feel like that clean conscious in terms of not cheating and not using performance enhancing drugs. It makes it that much sweeter when you get there. So if you're an amateur player listening to this, trust me, you can do it. Work hard. Do not take performance enhancing drugs. They're dangerous and they will only taint your career.
I mean, look, I'm going to have you come on the road and speak with me more often. That's
Yeah,
exactly what we tell people. I mean, that honestly, that is going to feel way more rewarding when you know everything that you did to get there. I mean, you did it on your own. Nothing else helped you out. I always try to tell young athletes that like, look, is it going to be harder without this stuff? Sure. But is it going to feel a whole lot better when you make it? Absolutely. Right.
right.
So I can
And and
imagine.
and after baseball, if not taking performance enhancing drugs is going to extend your lifespan, there's going to be a lot longer period of time that you're not going to play baseball than you are. So you may as well do everything possible to extend your lifespan and not take performance enhancing drugs.
Sure. The shortcut's only
Yeah,
going to pay off in the short term. Right.
yeah,
So there's
exactly.
tons of reasons to be involved. And I mean, so you made it without this stuff and then you succeeded without this stuff too. I mean, I know you had a super strong rookie year, like one of the best ERAs for a rookie reliever. I know one season you pitched in what, 75, 76 games. So
Yeah.
did any at bats, any appearances, anything throughout the years that kind of stick in your mind more than anything else, or do they all kind of run together?
I mean, I could give you a story almost on any hitter that I faced 5 or 6 times or more, but there's definitely the guys that stick out that they faced a number of times. Many of them are in the NL Central. A lot of them I've talked to about, or I've talked with them about facing them, and it's been really interesting. Guys like Joey Votto, facing him is always a chess match, and he's got such amazing plate awareness and his ability to hit pretty much any pitch because he's able to tunnel. It's incredible facing a guy like him. Matt Carpenter was always difficult to face, as is Yadier Molina. These are guys that it really feels like a chess match. And I'm not like, you feel like you're out there, not overthinking, but really making sure you better execute and you better execute the right pitch. And it's one of the things I absolutely love about this game. And I think that anybody that plays baseball or enjoys watching baseball can relate to that. The chess match, the strategy, it makes the game beautiful. I miss it. Again, I miss it right now.
Oh, I know. I miss it.
Yeah.
Just talking about it is tough, right? It's like I miss
Yeah.
I miss watching it. So I can imagine how you guys feel. Yeah, I mean the margin of error is like that. Matt Carpenter's one of our All Me advisory board members too. He's been on it for
Right.
a long time. So next time we see him, I'll let him know that.
Yeah, tell him,
Let him know that.
he already knows. I guarantee you, he already knows that it's a difficult at bat for me. But I think for him too, I've had my success as well. So it's kind of like it kind of goes back and forth. But pitchers always we tend to be the winner, right?
Sure.
We at least over half the time we're going to get the guy out. So
Sure. Well, so that's 70% of the time, right? That's the thing. If you're a successful batter, you get to hit 3 times
yeah,
out of 10. So
exactly.
you guys got the edge on that. So yeah, I
Exactly.
know a lot of your early years were with the Pirates, but then, I mean, you played for a bunch of other teams too. You played for what? The Brewers, the Reds, Astros. I'm curious myself, like when you make those transitions and you got to go to a new city and a new teammates and a new manager, is that easy for you? Is that difficult for you? I mean, I imagine it's different for everybody, but it's a pretty big transition just to get thrown from place to place sometimes, right? How did you handle that?
Yeah, I'm pretty chatty and pretty talkative. I enjoy making friends. I enjoy learning things about people on my team. So getting to know them more than just the game of baseball. So that makes transitions easier. And of course, if you have success, it makes transitions easier because your teammates like that you're helping them win.
Sure.
So yeah, so I know that I've made a lot of friends over the years. Just like I was talking about earlier, making friends in the minor leagues. Another one of my friends that I made, Miguel Perez, who just texted, unbelievable guy.
Right.
He's the man. But
Right.
what's up, Miggy? But nonetheless, you make friends, and it's easy to be able to adjust to wherever the location you're playing is. Yeah.
Well, you all have something in common. Everybody loves baseball, so that's a easy place.
True. And I'm just going to say it again because I'm on the phone call on the Instagram Live with the Taylor Hooten Foundation here, which educates for you if you're just showing up, educates people on the dangers of performance enhancing drugs. Every team I go to, I am shocked with how few people I've ever seen even consider a PED in the major leagues. It is just overwhelmingly players are against them. So if you have heard rumors that players are on performance enhancing drugs, you're likely wrong because guys are against it across the board. People don't like it. People don't want to take it. It's not worth it. People want to win. Players want to win, and they want to win cleanly. They don't want to win by cheating. They want to win cleanly. So if you hear those rumors, I can tell you right now, they're not true. Guys are not doing this. Sure, every now and then someone gets tested positive. That happens, and it's terrible. And we want to clean that up, and that's what we're pushing to do. And we're thankful for the Taylor Hooten Foundation to help us with that.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
kind of, that kind of like we talked about with the All Me League is we do want to celebrate the majority of people that are doing it right. Because, I mean, like it's just like you said, majority of guys do want to clean it up and do want to succeed the right way. And that's how it is. It's maybe the media loves to blow up the stories of the guys that do get caught. And I think that will
sure, as
always
they should.
be there.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
always going to be, always going to be people looking for an edge and a shortcut. I don't know that completely ever goes away. But
right.
instead of focusing on that, let's focus on guys like you that have done it and done it for a long time without it. And that
And
actually,
you
that
can
kind of
find an edge. You can find an edge. The edge just isn't cheating. You can find edges, and they're totally legal. You can
yeah,
find a new grip for a pitch, or you can find a new approach to a swing. Right? I've seen guys alter their swings. I mean, look at the way players lift balls now. somebody started doing it. They realized that a better launch angle was more successful. Turns out, hey, well, let's try to lift it, you know? So it's just one guy finds the edge, right? And you can do that without taking performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah, that's actually like
Yeah.
kind of leads me to my next question, because I was curious for you, like, what has been your edge? Because if you've been pitching since 2006, look, that's a long amount of time. So you've been successful in the bigs for a long time. What has been your secret, so to say? Is it a routine for you? Is it nutrition for you? I mean, what's kind of your secret weapon that's kind of helped you stay in this for so long?
Well, routine, nutrition, logging everything, journaling, learning from mistakes and failures, which happen all the time, and finding a way not to let them happen again. That's kind of what keeps you around. Being willing to make adjustments, listening to coaches, understanding that you never have it figured out. You show me someone that's got it figured out in the game of baseball, and I'll show you a liar. There's no such thing. So I think those are some of the keys, right? Being able to adjust and learning from mistakes and hunting the victories, right? And trying to do them over and over again.
Yeah, if you're not constantly adapting, you're falling behind. So you're a
No
student of
doubt.
the game from day one, and I don't think that ever goes away.
No
Uh,
doubt.
and so kind of like you said, like, I mean, it's impressive that you've been able to do that for this long, and you've done it the
Thanks,
right
man.
way. For anybody that is listening and kind of wants to learn more about what Jared's been doing with the All-Me League or the foundation as a whole, I mean, you guys can follow the Taylor Hooten Foundation on any kind of social media. You can go to taylorhooten.org. You can go to allmeleague.com. You'll learn all about Jared, all the other guys that are involved with this, all the work that we do, trying to share this education every day. We'd love for you guys to support us in the way Jared does. So that's great. So let's transition into what you're doing now, right? How are you staying prepared for a potential 2020 season, right? Can't hit the gym, right? The
Well, no, I
nutrition,
mean, I can actually. I'm lucky. I do have a setup here in my house where I'm able to lift weights, and also have a backyard where I'm able to run and throw into a net. So I do have a setup here where I'm following my routine. I'm staying in shape. Obviously, nutrition is huge, sleep is huge, but for the most part, staying in shape isn't something that's that difficult to do when you have a routine. But again, it's just a difficult time for other reasons, if that makes sense.
sure.
If it's a difficult time for our country. It's a difficult time for a lot of my family and friends that I don't get to see because traveling isn't an option. This is just it's not easy, but we're all in it together, and I do believe that we're going to come out the other side of this, and we're going to beat this thing as a country and as humanity. I think we're going to beat this thing, and it's going to be we're all going to be stronger for it. But it is so sad right now. And I'm just trying to social distance so I don't wind up in a hospital because I know that our doctors and medical personnel are really, they're just there saving lives right now. They're overworked, they're tired. But as an athlete, I can say thank you. And I know it's not much coming from me, but it's one person saying thank you.
Oh, I mean, thank you
Yeah,
from anybody. It goes a long way. I mean, we're all in this together. I mean, we're going to come out the other side of this. Will things be a little
yeah,
bit different? Probably, but staying positive is pretty crucial in all this, and that can be tough for a lot of people. But ultimately, that's what's going to get us through this. So,
yeah, yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you're doing well, and everybody's there is safe in your household, and that you're able to kind of stick with your routine. I saw. And Donald commented as well, because we follow you on Twitter, that you've really been able to keep things going because you built a pitching mound in your backyard to kind of to stay in shape and keep it on the path. Is that true? Where'd you get the specs to build that thing?
Yeah, and if anybody joins in wants to ask any questions, feel free to text them. I'll keep my eye out. I see my buddy Alex just hopped in and he said I'm his favorite player. Thanks, Alex. You're my favorite player too,
Yeah,
man.
and
Appreciate that.
they can
Yeah,
comment questions here as well, and we'll ask them
yeah,
at the
yeah.
end. No problem.
But yeah, I'm like I've got the mound I built in the backyard. I just went to the store and got a bunch of dirt. But like I was like, okay, drop the dirt outside and I'll come and I'll pick it up so I don't get like there's no 6 foot. Well, I tried to keep my social distancing while I did that. Then I was like, all right, I can't hire anybody to build a mound. I have to do this myself because again, social distancing. So I built the mound. I used to do it in high school and college, so I knew how to do it. And it was and I bought some dummies to stand in against me. I bought a dummy catcher. And I exploded the dummy catcher, but I just had I had some duct tape delivered, so hopefully I can fix the dummy catcher. And I call him a dummy, but with all due respect, I do like the inflatable catcher I have. But when I say dummy, I mean like a mannequin.
Sure,
Um,
I
but
got you.
also I've got like all this crazy these nets and buckets of baseballs. So I think my neighbors think I'm nuts. They for sure think I'm nuts running around my backyard with tripods, filming myself, throwing into nets. It's kind of it's kind of ridiculous at age 34 that I'm doing this in my backyard. But my kids do love watching, and they go out there and they join me. So I think my kids' throwing form has gotten much better.
Right.
Yeah,
Look, and it's keeping the kids occupied as well, because I know
yeah,
that's a challenge for this too. Because I got a 3-year-old running around here, and
ditto.
24/7. It's like, how do we keep her entertained for that long? So maybe I'll build a pitcher's mountain
Well,
and
and the greatest thing is dump over a bucket of balls, say, "Oh no, they spilled. We got to clean them all up," and
right.
then like make it a game, like throwing them back into the bucket. That's at least 30 minutes of fun time right there.
We do all the same kind of stuff. We go on walks, and the game is we collect rocks so we can throw them into the creek. Right. It's like
Exactly.
any kind of free
There you
entertainment
go.
we find right now, we're going to take it and run with it. So,
Yeah,
um,
my buddy Tucker just joined the chat here. Hey Tucker, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Yeah, but yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. My mother-in-law's here. Hello, Maureen. Thanks for the thumbs up. Right back to you.
yeah, anybody feel free to ask some questions in
Hey,
in
how
the
are you?
chat. I had a few people that send in some beforehand that I want to ask you about as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, so a really good question I got, and let's say maybe different situation where they don't have a gym or somewhere they could build a pitching mound at home. Like, so let's say baseball players that are kind of staying at home right now, like any advice for them or any workouts you could give them that they could do to kind of stay sharp through all of this?
I mean, there's so many body weight workouts like push-ups, lunges, body weight squats, plyometrics, any sort of jumping exercise you do from skaters to squat jumps. I mean, there's a bunch of different exercises you can do to stay in shape, stay strong without weights on your back or weights in your hands. You just have to probably do a few more reps. And sure, it might be not what you're typically used to, but sometimes that difference is good for your body. You kind of shock your body a little bit and do what it's not used to, and it's good for your growth in terms of being an athlete. So I would say look up body weight exercises and maybe fill some water bottles with sand if you're a pitcher, because a water bottle full of sand weighs about 2 pounds. And then you can do shoulder weights with a water bottle full of sand or dirt or water even. So that's a water bottles full of water are pretty easy to come
That's
across. So
I've never heard that one before. That makes total
yeah,
sense. No,
yeah.
that's exactly the kind of stuff that I think we can share.
I miss you too, Tucker. He's chatting. He's flooding the thread here. Yes, he's mentioning my inflatable catcher. I have an inflatable catcher named Rod Barajas. Rod is an old teammate of mine. And yeah, it's tough because Rod exploded, so it's not a good situation. And
Rob,
then also, I have a new catcher that's a net that I tape Tucker's face to, and I call it my 2014 Tucker Barnhart catcher. It's pre-beard Tucker. He looks much younger. Different guy altogether. He's changed a
uh,
lot.
I love it. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Uh, I had a couple more questions come in. What's your favorite stadium to pitch in? It's a good question because actually you played for many years in my favorite stadium to go to. I've been to every stadium in Major League Baseball just through our partnership, and PNC Park I think it's my favorite. Just setup, scenery, walk across the bridge. But that doesn't mean that it's maybe the best park to pitch in. So was there a favorite place you like to actually throw in when you
Yeah.
play?
Yes. My favorite place to throw in, probably, I mean, Detroit's great because it's a huge park. Any park that's huge, PNC plays
Sure.
great because left center is huge. The fans, every home team I've been lucky to play for has had incredible fans. They're passionate, they're loud. So that's always a joy is to play at home in front of passionate, loud fans. Difficult places to play on the road. There's not too many. When you're in the major leagues, it makes it pretty easy to go out there and play a game, right? You're playing on a major league field. But
Sure.
if I was to choose a favorite road city, I don't know. I do enjoy playing in California, maybe Los Angeles. It's where I grew up. So going there and playing games is really nice to be able to, I don't know, play in the field that I remember sitting watching in games at when I was a little kid. So
Right.
we have a couple other people that have joined here that I want to say hi to. Robert, thank you for saying that, man. I appreciate you saying those kind words. And I don't remember the Clemente Bridge picture, but if you showed it to me, I might. I think my buddy Brandon might have just joined. What's up, man? Old friend Tony joined, and Amir Garrett joined, who's my throwing partner and buddy from Cincinnati. So what's up, everybody? I appreciate you guys joining in here.
It's cool how technology is kind of like bringing people together more so now than ever. I mean, I have like
Yeah,
weekly technology, like chats with all my buddies. It's like family, like
yeah.
every week. It's kind of I don't know, one of the good things through this is where I feel like we're getting even more connected to people than we have before, which is which is
Yeah,
kind
I've had way more time to produce some content for social media here, so I feel like I have connected with some fans a little better and some of my buddies. And I don't know, I do enjoy reaching out, and I don't know, I love baseball. So anybody else that loves baseball is typically a friend of mine.
yeah. Shout out to Locate Jared if you're on Twitter. Give him
Yeah,
a
there we
follow.
go.
There's some
There we go.
solid content on there to
There's
go through.
14 people in the chat right now, so hopefully they all follow me.
Right. Uh, couple more questions. Why do you sprint to the mound? When did that start?
So I started sprinting to the mound when I was at AAA. I had a good friend and the catcher on the team, Chris Watts, and Chris told me, "Hey, dude," because I wasn't doing well and I hadn't had success. He said, "Hey, man, this might be your last time ever pitching," because we were both thinking that I might get released. So he said, "You should just sprint in and throw the ball as hard as you can." So I did it. I started sprinting in, started chucking it as hard as I could. I became a much better pitcher. It worked for me,
Yeah.
and within 2 months, I was in the major leagues.
All right.
And it was just because I started sprinting in and pitching with insane aggression.
Yeah, it gets the blood
Yeah.
flowing a little bit earlier, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you get loose. For me, it just works. Not for everybody. Some dudes do it and they can't throw strikes. For me, I can still do it.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
regain.
I've become a much better a much better pitcher after my sprint in. Without it, you wouldn't want to see that. It's not very pretty. Yeah.
Now I know where it started. Keep doing it. It's obviously working.
Thank you.
Another question that I had this question too. So there's been a lot of talk in baseball about maybe trying to do some kind of different season. I've heard all kinds of different things. Maybe, 90 games. Maybe we're all playing in Arizona. Maybe there won't be any fans. What's your kind of thoughts and opinions on an altered season, specifically if it's playing in parks with no fans? How does that kind of sit with you?
Yeah, it would be tough to play with no fans because obviously fans are such a big part of the game. But if it's for the best of our country and for everybody's health, I think it's a no-brainer that you'd have to do it. And TV is still very available, and I think that's better for everybody if you're able to stay healthy and baseball still happens. I don't know the details on a lot of the stuff. All I know is I just really do hope there's a season. I hope the season happens as soon as possible because the sooner it happens, that means that things are going the right direction in terms of uh, the virus and COVID, and that it's kind of becoming less of an issue. As long as there's a major national emergency and everybody's locked in their homes, it's going to be tough to get a season going. So I think if a season gets going, that's really good for everybody, and I'd love to see it happen as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, at the end of the day, like we just have to keep everybody safe. If that's the only way we can do it, then
Yeah,
let's do it. And I do agree with you
yeah,
that if we can pull it off, I think that's great. I mean, sports is one of those things I've loved my entire life. I know you have as well, and it unites our country. You've seen that before with different crises, how sports can kind of bring us back together. So whatever
yeah.
format it would be, I would take it. If we want to play games in your backyard, I'll tune into that. It doesn't matter, right? Like it'd be great to see sports come back. But first and foremost, let's make sure it's safe before we even try something.
Yeah, yeah. So let's all do our part, make sure it's safe, and then when it gets going, however many games there are, I mean, it could be interesting if the format was a little different. Hey, that could be interesting. Mix it up a little bit. It's always I don't know how they would do playoffs if there was a shortened season. So whatever it would be, I'm sure baseball fans would find a way to lock in, accept it, and just be happy there's baseball.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm with you. We'll keep patiently waiting. It'll be back at
yeah.
some point. Who knows when, but it'll be there. So yeah, we know that you'll be there when it happens as well. So we appreciate the time. If anybody has any other questions for Jared, throw them up
Yeah,
in the chat
type them
before
on
we.
in there. Anybody that's in here, if you want to ask a question, go ahead and type it on in. I know that
Buddy just texted me one. What shows have you been binge watching during all this?
right now I obviously watched the Joe Exotic one, the Tiger King,
Who
and that
did
was
it?
just
Right.
that was a hard one to watch, man. I just every episode I got so upset, but it was hard to turn off. Also,
Yeah.
let's see other shows that I've been watching. Homeland, I really enjoy, which is it's always been a good one. Even though like in the middle of every season I get so upset because nothing's going well, and I want everything to go better for the main character. But by the end of every season, it seems to be pretty good. And then other shows, whenever Real Housewives of New York is on in my house, I'll kind of just tune in and check it out. That's maybe I'll take that answer back, and hopefully no one remembers that.
I had my wife come on to this
Yeah.
interview. Watches there's like 17 Housewives shows nowadays. She's on all of them. So
I mean, it's just entertainment, man. It's just when you see people like that are kind of like a complete mess at the time, and they're saying whatever they want, it's so much fun to watch. I love watching people that have no filter just say what they want.
it's a train wreck that you can't look away from. I think that's why every
Yeah,
person in this
yeah,
country has watched Tiger King, because how can you can't
yeah,
turn it off. Once you've started it, you're
yeah.
in.
Yeah. Yeah, I just saw it. And also I just because we got a few more people in here now, and I tweeted about this a few minutes ago, and I said, hey, if you join, I'll talk about the meme of Real Muto last year shaking his head at me. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I know.
And
I didn't want to ask because I didn't
yeah.
know if it was a sensitive topic, but
Oh, it's not. No, it's not.
I'll give people
It's a funny topic.
the
So
background story, and then
yeah,
you tell me like about the meme and how it all happened. But if you
sure.
were with us, Jared talked that he sprints into the mound when he appears, and then what you went in to face a batter and walked him or something. There was
No, much worse. I gave him a home run, so it wasn't a good situation. Yeah, but
yeah. Tell us the story of the meme.
I'll pick it up from here. So I want to say there was like a single or something, and a run might have come in, or it wasn't a good situation in the game, and they called for me in the bullpen. Real Muto goes out to the mound as the previous pitcher exits the game, and shakes his head because he's upset with the situation the game's in. But the second he shook his head, they scrolled to me, sprinting in like a crazy person, and they're like, "Oh, he's for sure shaking his head." Or they went from me to him, I think, and it was just the timing was awful. He felt terrible about it. I thought it was hilarious.
Right.
Honestly, anytime you can be part of a meme, well, maybe I'll take that back. But I do think it's hilarious,
Yeah.
and at the
Me.
time, it wasn't hilarious because I did give up a home run, the very first hitter, and then John Boy broke it all down, and there was a really rough video that came after that. But at the same time, I do appreciate it. I understand baseball entertainment can be found in a lot of different ways. At that point in time, it was found at my expense, but at the same time, I'm just happy that I'm able to go out there and even have an opportunity to be broken down by John Boy.
Sure. If
Yeah.
you can't have a sense of humor and be able to laugh at yourself, it's going to be tough to get through some stuff. So
Exactly. And now I can laugh about it because we're far enough away from the home run that it's like, okay, I learned from it. I'm able to get by it. But at the same time, I also can appreciate the humor now in it. I could a little bit then, but not as much as I can now. Yeah. Yeah.
there's been a lot. I watched the whole breakdown video, and I was like, oh man, do I ask Jared about this? I don't know if he's still okay with it or not. So
It took me like I watched it immediately and I was like, oh gosh, this is so hard to watch. Then I watched it like a week later and I was cracking up. I thought it
sure.
was hilarious.
Well, we
But of course, the next day, Real Muto came up to me and he was like, dude, I totally didn't mean to do that. I'm so sorry. It was about the previous pitch. It wasn't about you. It looked terrible. And he was like, he talked to the TV guys. He was like, I can't believe you cut right to me after he was sprinting in. And it was, I don't know, it was just unfortunate timing. But now it's a very, very popular and famous meme. And I'm very honored to be a part of
yeah, memes are all
it.
about timing, right? That's going to
There
live
we go.
forever, even when you stop playing. That's still
Oh,
going to happen.
I can't wait. I can't wait to tell my grandkids about the meme.
Oh,
Oh,
perfect.
my buddy Duke just joined. Duke, how are you, man? How are you? I miss you, man. Yeah, it's good to see a lot of familiar names coming into the Instagram live here. I'm loving. I got some text messages I need to send after this.
Yeah, this is great, man. I honestly, we really appreciate the time and hanging out with us. It's a cool way for us to kind of connect with some of you guys, because I mean, obviously, this time of year we would normally not be able to talk to you guys. Your schedule would be a whole lot different. So we've been doing this with a few different guys. We talked with Dylan G last week, who was one of our very first All-Me members. I'm talking with Hunter Dozier on Monday from the Royals. So it's been really cool for not only for you guys to kind of support our mission, but at the same time, give us a little bit of your time and talk about some of the stuff and get to know you a little bit on a different level. So I know we appreciate it on our side, and I'm sure everybody tuning in appreciates the time as well. So it means a lot.
Well, I really appreciate you including me here. This has been a lot of fun, and I love
Yeah.
chatting it up. If you want
Yeah.
to just do this every day, man, we just chat around 2 Central every day and just, talk about baseball and talk about the dangers of performance-enhancing drugs, of course, because
Sure.
that's why we're here. And if anybody's just tuning in, that's what we've done here. We've definitely discussed quite a bit the dangers of performance-enhancing drugs. And I'll say it one more time before we head out, is don't do them. Don't take them. I don't take them. I never have. Almost everybody I've ever played with has never taken them. The few guys that have, I guarantee you they regret it, right? This is not a thing. It's not common. Don't do it. If you're a young player, don't do it. All right?
Yeah,
What I got.
absolutely. I'm going to tell you what, Jared. As soon as you're done pitching, we got a job for you on our team.
Perfect. Perfect. There we
We
go.
it means a lot when I say those things to young
Yeah.
people, but coming from you, that's the exact kind of message that people need to hear, and have that inspiration and know that they can be whatever they want to be and they can do it the
Yeah.
right way. So we appreciate that.
Exactly. It's a lot more fun when you do it the right way. And you say, when I'm done pitching, I'll have a job. I don't think I'll ever be done pitching at this point. I think with these nets in my backyard, I'll probably just keep throwing into nets for many, many years, updating everybody on Twitter until I have 0 followers and everybody is sick and tired of watching me throw nets.
There's gonna
So that's my plan.
there's gonna be a constant supply of inflatable catchers coming to Jared Hughes'
There we
house
go.
for the rest
There
of
we
his
go.
life.
You know, like the Taiwan, I don't know if you've seen in Taiwan in the professional baseball league, there they have fans that are like dummies, like inflatable mannequins. Now, all my inflatable catchers and baseball players that I throw to in the backyard, I'm going to line them up on the side of my bullpens, I think, and on the side of when I'm throwing. So I'll have a crowd of inflatable people
There
in the
you go.
backyard rooting me on. So this is, it's really going to be twisted. My neighbors are definitely going to be bothered by it.
It's good. You're gonna have
Yeah,
a new hobby now for the rest of your life. The things that we learned
exactly.
during quarantine, right? To stick with us. So.
Yep, exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
cool. Well, Jared, thanks
Yep.
so much. For anybody else that joined on and want to learn more about the Taylor Hooten Foundation, you guys can follow us at the THF. We're on all kinds of platforms. Check out our website at taylorhooten.org. Jared, thanks again for the time, but most importantly, thanks for being a role model. It means a lot, not to just people like me, but for a lot of people out there, probably more than we even know. So keep up the good work. We'll be pulling for you whenever the season comes back. We'll have your back, right? And hopefully we can talk again soon before that.
Thank you, and I appreciate you having me on.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.